of Agenda looks at the terrible tragedy coming from Chhattisgarh, where in a throwback to the 70s, we've seen 11 women. Yes, the death toll of those sterilization deaths went up to 11 from 8 today, and many scores of women are still suffering from major complications. On the show today, we look at a demand that many are making now. What is the need in this day and age to have those sterilization camps? Now, on the show today, we have Ajit Jogi, former Chief Minister of Chhattisgarh, who's demanding that Raman Singh step down. Chief Minister Raman Singh step down. We also have health experts joining me over here in Delhi, and also from the BJP, we have Sudhanshu Mittal. We'll be speaking to all of them in just a bit. But first, let's just look at the hospital in Bilaspur, where my colleague Siddharth Ranjan Das is reporting from. The state of it, where nobody has been treated since April. That's months away. And these women over the weekend were sterilized there. Just take a look at it.
This is what the infrastructure looks like at the Nemi Chand Jain Hospital in Pindara, and right across the hall is the operation theatre, which is sealed right now, where those 83 surgeries took place on Saturday. A big question now for the government to answer is why such a hospital with no basic infrastructure was selected to conduct these surgeries.
So remember, the state government has initiated action, criminal negligence case against the Dr. R.K. Gupta, who conducted those operations over 5 hours. 85 surgeries that he conducted. They've initiated criminal negligence trial, but however, he's still roaming around outside. He's not been arrested. So we're going to talk about that first. I just want to go across in Bilaspur. We have Dr. Raman Kataria joining us, and Dr. Kataria was treating some of those women who fell ill after that. Dr. Kataria, tell us exactly what the situation was. What did you see when you saw these women?
So we had a few of these women only coming to us. Out of a total of 83 women who were operated in the camp, we hear that nearly 69 of them had to be hospitalized, and nearly 50 of them are seriously ill. And of these 50, 11 deaths have already occurred, and many women are still battling for their life in different hospitals. Now, initiated treatment of 3 of these women.
I know you looked at such cases before. Was it like anything you've seen before?
I mean, all of the women who presented to us, they had vomiting, they had hypotension, they had presented with features of shock, and vomiting was the predominant symptom. And some of them were febrile, 2 of them were febrile. So it seemed as though they were suffering from a severe infection. So prima facie, it would look as though it was a severe infection which has been responsible for this. It was a shock-like state, something which we would call as a toxic shock syndrome, which is caused by staphylococcal bacteria.
And Dr. Kataria, I just want to ask you, 60 women are still ill. How many of them are critical, sir?
I really don't know, because they are distributed now across 3 different hospitals. One is the Medical College, the other is Apollo Hospital Bilaspur, and another one is KIMS. So across these 3 hospitals, but most of the sick women, I believe, are in Apollo Hospital, because that has the largest infrastructure for intensive care.
Okay, so Sudhanshu Mittal, we have to ask you a question which many are asking really, is that Dr. Raman Singh, the Chief Minister, is a doctor himself. How could he let something like this happen?
See, what has happened is really shocking. I mean, it will shake the conscience of this country. Such tragedies cannot be permitted. When you want to apportion a blame to political leadership, you have to understand that while the tragedy takes place, the response of the political leadership is critical. If they are found to be wanting in the response, or if they are negligent on the response, then you should hold them accountable. But in case of such tragedies or any misdeeds by anybody, then...
But why was a government camp being held in such a hospital, which hasn't been used since April? We just heard what my colleague said, we just heard what the doctor who was treating them said. The state of the hospital, why was this hospital, and this is in the health minister's constituency, in his area, why was this hospital chosen? So, you know, the government is directly responsible. It's not just the response.
Let me tell you one thing. I fully agree with you that the administration is completely responsible. I mean, if such is the state of the hospital, then having such surgeries, there is certainly not an acceptable proposition. So people who are at the helm of affairs and who are responsible for taking these decisions must be hauled up. There can't be a debate on that. And as I said...
So the response has been slow as well, because the doctor is still roaming freely.
See, you have to distinguish between the arrest and finding out who's guilty and then taking action against them. They're two different things altogether.
Okay.
So, and I just want to tell you one more thing.
Yes.
I am also looking at the response which the central government has had on the issue. Immediately, cognizance was taken, immediately facts are being sought to be found out, and a special team of the AIIMS doctors has been rushed, especially through a chartered flight, to ensure that, the first responsibility is get relief for the people who are now suffering.
Okay, so the real talking point is it a tragic incident that happened, accident, really tragic which happened, or is it something which because of negligence was just waiting to happen? Ajit Jogi, you've just heard the BJP's response. Obviously in the state we tried to get health officials, department officials to talk, somebody from state BJP to talk, they weren't willing. Do you accept what Sudhanshu Mittal has said?
I do not. It's a shocking and shattering tragedy, especially for a person like me who's a tribal, who hails from this district and who knows that this place, Pendari, is just 5 kilometers away from where the health minister lives. He knows the condition of the hospital that you showed. And how come this happens within a radius of 5 kilometers from his house? And another, I would like to correct you now, 13 women have died so far. 12 here who were operated in Pendari, and one from those who was operated in a place called Pendra, where 27 such sterilizations took place under similar conditions.
Okay.
And
Sir, the
they have rushed 22 others.
Mr. Jogi, the BJP is saying that their response, yes, there was it's a terrible tragedy, but they're saying the response has been very prompt. Would you agree with that?
No, I don't, because the buck must stop somewhere. And this is not the first time that this has happened in Chhattisgarh. You know, 100 persons living below the poverty line, they lost their eyesight in a camp, in a government camp in a place called Balod and Bagbehra. They suspended the doctors, and after a year, they were reinstated and promoted as district health officers, and this is how they responded to one similar situation. Then the uterus of about 30-35 women was removed. They were not in a position
now. I mean, what is most appropriate right now is let's take the appropriate action to save the lives.
Please don't disturb me. I didn't speak when you were speaking. I'm giving you the facts how this government has been responding.
Get a better understanding of what happened. That's what I want to bring the health professionals in. We have Dr. Budit Bedi, he's a consultant in Apollo, and we also have Kerry McBroom of Human Rights Law Network, which has, it's very significant because you have been fighting and filed a petition to get somebody to oversee all these health camps that are going on. But I just want to ask one thing. Is it the compensation policy? Because in NDTV, we've just shown these letters of how recently central government has proposed to raise the compensation for people who go through sterilization, men and women. It's very interesting because there are different rates. Dr. Bedi, is the compensation policy itself the real problem here?
Absolutely. See, ever since the National Family Planning Program started, First of all, we understand that population is a problem, but population control at any cost has been the approach of the National Family Planning Program. Almost everything they touched, they made a mess of it so that it becomes unmentionable. Whether it was IUCDs and forced mass abortions in 50s and 60s, during the infamous emergency, the forced male sterilizations, and then oral contraceptive and long-acting progesterones, and now the female sterilizations. Now, all other methods having fallen into disrepute, the mainstay of population control now is on forced female sterilizations, and the numbers, the reaching 5 million per year is ridiculous.
Sorry, I just have to stop you there and say, did you say forced female sterilization?
That's right.
Are you saying it's the same as what happened during the emergency with men?
Well, it is difficult, then it will just become one set of politicians against the others. Well, it is more or less. The problem is with the National Family Planning Program, not which particular party is in office. Because the National Family Planning Program has always had this very narrow outlook on population control at any cost and whatever. Now, after all, it's a surgical procedure at par with, let's say, removing an appendix or a gallbladder or anything that a man undergoes. So it has to be done with consent, with informed consent, anesthesia,
and Dr.
various
I just wanted to just point out to our viewers at home, because it's such a complex story. But we've been reporting today on how these operations. Dr. Gupta, who did that operation, he did in 5 hours, 85.
It's completely barbaric.
Yeah, so tell us how long that usual thing takes.
I think it takes about, in a very skilled hand, it takes about 10-15 minutes to operate. But that's the best you can do. But if you, for example, just washing your hands for a surgical procedure takes 3 to 5 minutes, and changing and sterilizing the instruments takes at least a couple of hours. So using the same instrument in, 80 odd women is completely criminal. It says follows no laws of medicine, science.
Your explanation makes it very
ethics.
clear that just how wrong things went.